Infernal Blessings, back with another video. It's going to be the last one I do for the day. This is the third one, all right? A couple quick announcements. Again, if you want to sign up for classes that I do 3 private classes every month on Patreon. At patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. That's the official Primordial Chaos Patreon page. That's how you get into the classes. All the classes I do are done on Patreon. I do 3 every month for Patreon members only. That also includes a group ritual we do together at the end of the month. And also keep in mind when you join, not only do you get access to the channel from the day you join moving forward, you have access to all the ongoing series. All the classes are archived from day one. So you're getting access to all the classes, even all the ones that were done prior to before you joined. Trust me, it's an unbelievable value for the amount of information, the amount of classes, ritual work. I mean, if you want to upstep, take your spirituality, your spirituality to a next level, and you really want to get serious about the left-hand path in the occult, those classes will definitely help you do that. Again, that's patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. If you're interested in a spiritual reading or a consultation, I offer various different readings: Clepothic demonic readings, Egyptian oracle readings, Santa Muerte readings, shadow work readings, which is always good to uncover the shadow, the hidden self, see what you got going on around you in the current moment. Kind of pushes you in the right direction of what you need to be doing. Deity readings to see what spirits and demons walk with you. Not to worship them, but to strengthen your connection on this path, strengthen your connection deeper with those spirits and demons, and help you to understand yourself even better. Okay. Also, the 6th annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference is in full effect. You can sign up and register for that now. That'll be taking place from October 19th to the 22nd, right here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Hollywood to be exact. Close to the beaches, close to hotels, Airbnbs, minutes from the Fort Lauderdale airport. So it's in a great location. Most people, as I said, come, they Uber it. They don't even rent a car. Some do. If you want to do extra stuff, going to Miami, South Beach, or things of that nature on your own free time, but a convenient location. The event starts on the 19th, which is Thursday night, where we're going to have a meet and greet. Friday and Saturday from 9 to 4 p.m. workshops, classes, and presentations. We come back in the evening on both Friday and Saturday. We do a group ritual working. One of them will be outside on the beach and possibly the cemetery. And then we finish the event on Sunday, noon to 4 p.m. I'll be finishing it up with a question and answer class. All right, that'll close out the event. You could also attend virtually, which gives you access to Friday and Saturday and Sunday's classes. Shoot me an email, khnum19@gmail.com, and I will send you the information on how to sign up and register. Keep in mind also, all this new content is being uploaded to the Primordial Chaos podcast, which is available on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. Also, the direct link to the podcast is in the description box of this video. My email address to contact me on anything you heard me talk about here, and also the direct link to the Patreon page at patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, if you want to sign up for the classes that I do offer. All right, having said that, so we've been talking about our spirits, demons, gods, and goddesses real. We talked about some tips on how to help you strengthen things you should be doing as far as preparing, helping you on your spiritual path. All right. So kind of what I want to talk about in this particular video is a couple of things I was wrestling with. But what I kind of want to talk about here is I mentioned this, alluded to things like assisting your magic. Are you doing things in the mundane world? What I want to establish in this particular video, okay, kind of piggyback off of preparing, setting up for your rituals, planning and timing. So let's talk a little bit about that, which is kind of going to piggyback off of the previous video, okay? Now, as I said, sometimes you can't plan and you can't time. right? So let me say this, or maybe we might even call this magic. You must know how to work magic any place, anywhere, anytime. I think that's kind of what we'll call this video. I was trying to figure out how to incorporate these two, but as I said, sometimes, like in the previous video when we were talking about, you know, preparatory steps you can take when you're planning rituals and you're doing your magic. And again, a lot of that was geared more so towards when you can plan things, okay? But we must understand magic must be, and you must know how to, and have the ability to work it any place, anywhere, at any time. Magic isn't just done at your ritual altar, okay? Now, having said that, I want to make this crystal clear. Having said that, I'm big. I do believe each magician should have a sacred space that they can go to meditate, possibly a place to study, to do their rituals. I do think you should have a consecrated, sacred place, right? But sometimes situations arise and you have to work magic in the moment, on the fly. You don't have time. There's going to be moments where you don't have time to do the elaborate ritual setup, to have your altar, exactly to your liking. It's easy to do all that stuff when you have the time and you can plan, right? But I'm going to piggyback more on that because I want to talk about how to create an astral temple, but I think I'll do that in the next video. But I want to focus on the planning and timing. So that'll kind of segue into the next segment, but planning and timing, okay? Now, there's always the questions, do we as magicians, are the planetary influences critical for us? Do the planetary influences affect your magic? And as magicians, should we really, really, really be locked into the phases of the moon, the sun, and the planets as far as carrying out magic and ritual work? So the answer to that question is yes and no. Okay? Now, when you're planning your magic, because I say yes and no because unfortunately some people get real religious with that shit when it comes to astrology and the planets. And I'm going to do a video on talking about astrology. I'll deal with that another time. Now, do planetary influences, can it impact your magic? Yes, most definitely. Because of the energy that the planets pull, the movement of the planets, the sun, the moon, the waxing and the waning and all that. Most definitely, because we see it affects humans, especially women. The phases of the moon is tied into their menstrual cycle. So the lunar cycles are important to us, especially when we deal with candle magic, right? Is it mandatory or is it necessary? Now, here's what I've found, because we're dark sorcerers, chaos magicians. So a lot of those, if you want to call them rules and regulations that they establish with the planetary movements, to me is kind of new agey, and it's in that fluffy magic spectrum. That's just my opinion. Now, if you can plan and use your power in addition to the power of the planets, the moon and the sun, yes, most definitely, that will enhance and give it power. But what about, I always bring this up to somebody who, because I've run into people over the years who are so locked into that shit religiously. What about the person that's in a critical situation, and let's just say the planets are in the sign of Jupiter and the moon is waning, right? They say that's a terrible time to do magic, and I've mentioned this many times before in the past, because Jupiter is a very chaotic energy, this, that, and the other. I found that to be pure bullshit. I find that chaotic energy for a dark sorcerer, for a chaos magician, that is a fantastic time to do magic. So we have to understand, when you're reading a lot of that stuff on the planets and the waxing and the waning of the moon, know that comes from more of a lighter perspective, more from, again, let's just call it what it is, a fluffy magic perspective. I don't feed into that, because if you're a god, if you are a goddess, and you have the power as such, you control the planets. The planets don't control you. You, in essence, are a planet when you really break it down and want to get into the very essence of it, because you are a builder and a destroyer, a creator, and you regenerate, you renew, you create, you destroy. So you are the creator of your planetary domain. You are on the center of your axis, as they say. In Sufi mysticism, they call it being a El Qubt. El Qubt is the axis, right? Everything rotates around the axis. A true magician controls the planets, okay? That may be hard for some to fathom that are under that new age school of thought. So what if we are in, according to the phases of the moon or the planetary movement, what if we're in a very time that is labeled in astrology as very negative and not a good time to do magic, but you got a serious situation? Well, I'm gonna tell you what you do. You ignore all that bullshit and you do what you got to do, because that's where your pure power or lack of will come into play. Okay? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Where I'm at with my magic, I'm past all that shit. I do whatever I got to do. I'll be honest with you. I don't really pay too much attention to the phases of the moon and the planetary alignment, because I've developed my power. I'm so centered in my own power that I control time. I control the planets. My timing is in alignment with my personal needs. So that's almost become secondary to me. Now, previously, back in the day, did I focus on it to a degree and give it attention? Most definitely. I don't really do it now. Now, candle magic, which I want to do probably just a video on candle magic only. I will, because candle magic is something that you can do continuously and plan. That's probably the only time I might give some energy and attention to it. If I'm doing a candle magic spell or candle magic working, which is 99.9% of the time, is usually planned. It's usually, I might do something, for harmony and positive energy in the family and the household, stuff like that, healing work or things of that nature or whatever. I might focus or pay a little bit of attention to the phases of the moon, because we deal with the darker side of things. Now, there is such thing as lunar and solar magic. So some magic is better performed in the daylight hours or in conjunction with the sun or the movement of the sun or solar. But a lot of the magic we do is the lunar, or ties into the phases of the moon. Now, if you pay attention, now we know that is a very powerful cycle when you look at the cycle as a whole, because if you look, there's a reason why I do the rituals towards the end of the month. It's always close to that end cycle going into the moon cycle. Now, yes, these things can pull from you, affect you to a degree mentally, but we have to be careful, because some people get real spooked out with this shit. So I'm going to keep it 100%. Don't utilize it religiously like laws in a Bible, because it negates the fact that you're a god or a goddess if you do. Because again, you are acknowledging something outside of yourself that is superior to you, that you are inferior or submissive to. Okay? It might be hard for you to fathom that you're the ruler, the controller. You control the planets. Okay? If you talk about Jupiter energy, Saturn energy, and how everybody talks about it, its levels of intensity, how powerful it can be, and people get religious with that Mercury retrograde shit and this, that, and the other, right? But we're chaos magicians, people. We, especially if you work with Set, that's your territory. That's my territory. If you're connected to Set energy, you know how to make order out of that chaos. That ain't nothing. As they say, ain't no thing but a chicken wing, right? That's normal. That's regular every day for us. See, we don't separate the energies as good and bad. That's what lighter paths do. Remember, when you are a true black adept of the dark arts, you embrace all energy. It's all necessary. It's religious mortals and spooky people that separate and classify it. So whether you're calling it light energy, dark energy, healing energy, right? You're just describing the mood and the vibration of the energy. And I get that. But a true dark sorcerer, black magician, black adept, okay, knows they need all of those energies to work effectively. Right? It's not about just having one. It's not about just having the other. It's about having the right formula and harmony in your magic that works for you. So they are all needed. All right? They are all needed. So I would tell you, don't get caught up in your planning and timing with planetary stuff too much. Now, also when you are laying out your ritual work, planning and timing is not just the physical time and the day, or what I'm talking about dealing with the planetary signs and movements. The most important planning and timing is this the right ritual I need to do at this time based on what's going on in my life. That's the most important thing here. Because sometimes our energies are being pulled in the wrong direction. You could be doing work for things that just at the moment just may not be needed. You could have other more important things going on. And you could be negating that, and all of your energy and attention is being focused on something that is just not a critical need at the moment. It's more of a want. And we've talked about that in the past, needs and wants. So is the timing right? Is your intent in alignment? This is all part of the planning and timing. Okay? In addition to the the movement of the planets, this and that. Now, this is all, as I said, when you have time to plan, but sometimes you must be able to perform magic if you're driving in your car. Okay? We multitask. You might have to perform magic while you're flying on a plane, or sitting in a hotel room, or out in a public place. Right? Vampirism, a lot of vampiric work, dayside vampiric work is done like that. Okay? Astral feeding, things of that nature. I mean, a good magician or sorcerer could be doing work right in front of your face and you have no clue what's being done. We've done that before in the past. I've gone into a cemetery during the daytime hours with people there, not knowing or having any type of clue that I'm doing some type of ritual work. Okay? Because sometimes things arise in the moment on the fly that you must address immediately. So you must go into the power of your mind, and that's going to be my next video, how you create your astral altar and your temple. I've talked about this, but I'm going to do a video focusing on that next. I'm going to do a video on astrology, right, which I think that needs to be addressed, in candle magic, exclusively candle magic, how to read your candles, things of that nature, right? So we're going to, as we get to the end of this video, right, we're going to finish this video off with sometimes magic has to be worked on the fly, and you can't utilize any of that. Planetary signs, astrology, planning at your altar, having an outline, all the things we talked about in a previous video when you can plan. How do you work this chaos magic on the fly? Okay? You have to be able to go into the power of your mind, right? That's what understanding that book, Cyclomancy, is about, right? How to activate the powers of your mind. Because in essence, you're going to find out when you grow and get to a certain level, that's really in essence all you need. Because remember, one of the key components of black magic or magic is reprogramming the subconscious mind. So once you've reprogrammed it and you got it in alignment with the frequency and the energy, and you have the ability to connect just by the simple fact of thoughts and the powers of your mind, you now have the ability to work magic anywhere, any place, anytime. And one of the key skills to that, visualization. right? I'm going to make a list of this once I get on. That's another thing. I want these small tutorials to be on just specific topics. Visualization skills is something that is critical in mastering the art of magic. Understanding the power of your mind and imagination is critical in mastering the art of magic. Okay? Sometimes people get religious with this shit. They think it's about just lighting candles and saying some words, right? You know, it's deeper than that, right? The power or the lack of the power of your mind is going to really determine how powerful you are as a magician. It's that simple. Don't go by the external shit you see. I don't care how somebody looks or how somebody you might have run into presents themselves, or they got the whole thing external on the outside, got people convinced. I mean, you see that in a lot of conscious movements. A lot of people got the look down packed. They got the lingo down packed. And to the untrained eye, some people might, be fooled by that shit. Not if you're a true dark sorcerer magician. I can tell you this. I can smell bullshit a mile away. I can tell you that 100%. I know when somebody's in my presence and they full of shit. I know when somebody in my presence is powerful, and I know when somebody in my presence is weak and faking the funk. It's just, that's how I'm connected. And that's just something personal I will keep to myself, right? But I can tell just by being in the presence of somebody for just a few moments. You can't fake the funk on this path. And I keep telling people that, don't try. Because if you do, there will come a point where you'll be tested. As I said, show and prove. And that's what this path is about. But I'm going to leave this video there. I'm going to talk about the Astral Temple. I'm going to make a note of some of them topics, make it easier. And I'll make a list, put it in my phone. And that'll be the next video. We're going to talk about how do you create an Astral Temple and use the power of your mind in performing your magic. All right, so we're going to talk about all of that stuff. And this is going to help get you on that right path that you need to be on to connect on that frequency if you really want to make this thing really work and take it to the next level. All right, if you need to reach out to me for a reading, a consultation, information on the journey of the Black Adept Conference, the email is in the description box of the video. The direct link to the Primordial Chaos podcast in the description box of this video. Also the link to the Patreon page, the Primordial Chaos Patreon page, patreon.com/Baniti in the description box if you want to sign up for the classes. Other than that, this is your boy, the B, the A, the N, the I, the T, the I, signing out. Infernal blessings. You thought I was going to say peace, didn't you?